and I'm a part of Team Hardwood. And I have a question for everybody here. How many of you know somebody with a diet restriction or concern? Everybody in the room, including myself. Within my family, both my wife's side of the family and my immediate family, my wife has allergies to corn and sugar. She is very sensitive to that. My mom and sister is celiac, my dad's hypertensive, and I have 3 diabetic in-laws. This right here is my biggest passion, is just food and how it affects the body. I see so much of our diet really affects how we are and just in general our health. And so much can be changed by changing up your diet and what you eat on a regular basis. And this is my passion. I want to be able to cook for people. I want to be able to help advise people as to what they can be eating and how they can change up their lifestyle. But also within the realm of dietetics, a lot of what we have to do is specific group work, and part of our assignment of what we've done is we had to do a self-analysis and decide, do we have an internal locus of control, etc. That was really important because I think it will also help us understand how we're going to work in a group beyond just Team Hardwood. I've had a lot of other group experiences, and many of them have not been spectacular, so I'm really, really glad that we've taken the time to really understand what's important to us and what our strengths and weaknesses are. It was kind of fun to go through and find out our strengths and weaknesses. I found some of them were fairly obvious to me. I scored, I think, for the Myers-Briggs test an INTJ, which was introverted, intuitive thinking and judging, which I could have told you that flat out. That's quite a bit of a description of me. But the other ones kind of had an interesting result. It scored me halfway between the type A and type B, where I would have said that I thought I was very definitively a type A personality, but it put me right in the middle, which was an interesting thing for me, and I didn't think that that was going to be the case, because I always thought I'm more of a driven person like that, but it was interesting to see. I also noticed that it said I had a very, very strong internal locus of control, but I had a real problem with the test because as I was filling it out, I could tell specifically what answers were going to lead to what, so I changed it how I wanted it. And I thought that the external locus of control was rather pessimistic, and I had a problem with that as well. So I decided to adjust it because I could see how it was going to lead. It also scored me as a low self-monitor, which I think is pretty accurate. I get along well with people, but I don't really adjust who I am in different situations. I'm pretty stable across the board. If you see me at work or at home, I'm going to be a very similar person. So that's a very accurate score on me. And within the Big 5 personality test, it scored me middle of the road for the extroverted and openness, which I guess makes quite a bit of sense to me. I can be either a very introverted person at times, but I also do well in speaking situations where I'm talking with new people, as my jobs have required in the past. And openness, I can be flexible with ideas and new thoughts. I was very high in agreeableness, stability, and conscientiousness. And a lot of these things I feel are going to be important to our team and just how this works. I know that because I have a high stability and agreeableness, I can get along pretty well with people and be depended upon, for the most part, to do my work. However, that's also one of my weaknesses, is I'm a wait to the last minute, fly by the seat of my pants kind of guy. I'll wait until it's really go time and use stress as a motivator. That graph that we've seen in class and that Matt was so nice to show to us is very accurate for me. The higher the stress level for me, the more of a motivator it is. And I have a very hard time preparing things ahead. I do a lot of the last minute, let's just make this work. And it sometimes works and sometimes it doesn't. And also, like within all of these strengths and weaknesses, it kind of leads to my team behavior. My team behavior really varies from team to team and whatever is required of me. In teams, I've been the leader before, but I've also been just the follower, the worker. It really depends on what's required of me. I'm willing to step up and take leadership if I need to, but if I don't need to, I typically don't. So I just kind of gauge the situation and I try really hard to understand what other people need within that, because sometimes there's a strong team with 3 leaders on it and they don't need that, so I'll just be a worker or a follower and I'm fine with that. So overall, I think the outcome that I hope to have for our team is I want to have a very strong and positive team experience. Everything I've had up till now has been either pretty mediocre or something's gone drastically wrong last minute. And I don't want to have something like that happen. I want to have a very positive experience that I can look back on and say, hey, I remember that. That worked really well. That was a lot of fun. So thank you for listening to my presentation.